Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DDOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. In this video, you will be learning about virtual desktop, Windows virtual desktop. But first, we must realize that the word desktop has two meanings if we will be looking at a very high level. First is a desktop is a desktop computer, also known as a PC. Second is desktop can also mean the workspace in our PC or laptop where we have things like desktop shortcuts or that workspace where we open Windows applications. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Now let's look at a scenario wherein we have many applications open so that switching from one application to another becomes a task in itself. In such situations, the Windows Virtual Desktop can help us a lot. So Virtual Desktop is a Windows functionality or a tool that allows you to have multiple desktop environments compared to the single desktop that you normally have. Let's create a virtual desktop. To do that, our starting point is the button called the task view. If we look here, I've conveniently placed the taskbar at the top, so it's very visible to you. Now, if you look near the Windows Start button is this button called Task View. So this is the single point, the go-to button on matters related to tasks. Windows Virtual Desktop. So to create, to manage, to close, to switch, then you will click this Task View button. So let's do that. I'll click on Task View button. When you do that, it brings up these. This is what you will see. And you can see new desktop. You can click on that. It will create a desktop for your virtual desktop. So you can click on the desktop 2. Okay. You can see that it's empty, meaning no applications are open, right? If you will see, if I will switch back to desktop 1, which was what you saw when we started the video, you had a couple of applications open. You have a calculator, you have a Notepad, you have this file explorer, you have a character map open, you have a word pad. These are just a few, but in reality, you could actually have 20, 30 or upwards applications open while working. And it becomes cumbersome, it becomes a source of bottleneck in our work, and it slows down. It affects our productivity simply because there's too many of them. It's hard to switch from one application to another when we need to. So this gets tackled by the use of the virtual desktop or Windows. Okay, so in this example, I only opened a few applications, but in truth, many people are working with 10, 20 applications open. So we opened up with this. This was what we were seeing, but now we have created a virtual desktop. And you can see when we click on the task view button right here, and then I click on the newly created virtual desktop, you can see it's empty. Okay, so let me just see what we can do with this new virtual desktop environment. So I will open applications, let's say WordPad, and just keeping it simple. Again, let's just say I also opened a calculator maybe, and then I also opened Notepad. Okay, of course, again, the possibilities are endless. You can open 20, 30 applications up to you. But here you can already see the advantage of having this virtual desktop. Again, if I click on the task view button over here, you can see that we have currently 2 virtual desktop environments. The first one is the initial environment that we had is called desktop 1, and then we have a desktop 2. As you can see, The go-to button here is the task view button. It allows you to create a desktop by clicking on the plus button over here. That creates a new desktop. And it also allows you to switch from virtual desktop to another, one to another. So let's just say I want to create another one. I will go to this new desktop and click on the plus on that. And it creates that new one, and it's called desktop 3. I'll click on that. Again, it presents to me an empty desktop, virtual desktop, which is in fact virtual. Again, you should not forget that you're only working on one physical desktop or laptop, Windows device. But because of this Windows virtual desktop functionality, it allows you to virtually have so many desktops at your disposal, at your fingertips, right? So right now, again, what's the go-to button? It's the task view button, which is very near the Windows start button. Okay, when you click on that, it allows you to create. It allows you to switch from desktop to another, one to another. It allows you to close. So let's just say, okay, let's go back to the desktop 3, which is another virtual desktop. And then in it, I will, let's say I wanted to open, I don't know, let's just say, we're just illustrating, we're keeping it simple, just for you to get the hang of it, but you can see the power of the virtual desktop. Okay, so I am opening things as I wish, and then when I click on the task view, I can see now that I have 3 desktops that I can work on. So what is the advantage of having all these? Remember when we started by looking at this, and it had a couple of applications open, and I said, in reality, there could even be more, much more than this, maybe 20 applications open. So with the use of the virtual desktop, it allows you to organize your applications in a more structured way. For instance, on one hand, you're doing some computations, maybe some spreadsheets, any kind of computation. So maybe you can organize and put together the applications related to your computation work, calculator, Excel, what have you. Put them all in one desktop, maybe the one called desktop 1. And then maybe on the other hand, you're doing some documentation. So you have a Microsoft Word open, you have other applications related to documentation, maybe MS Paint for doing screenshots, maybe you have a snipping tool, maybe you have Adobe Photoshop, anything that is related to documentation, and you can put them, those applications, open them in desktop 2, okay, and so on. So I hope you can see the direction we're going. This is the beauty of having virtual desktops. It allows you to organize your work so that you're decluttering, you're organizing them in the same workspace. It allows you to have as if you are working on so many computers, when in fact you're only working on one. So again, the go-to button is a task view, very easy. It allows you to create. How to create? You click on the new desktop plus button. How do you close? If you want to close virtual desktop, you hover your mouse over that desktop that you want to close, maybe this one, desktop 3, and you click on the X button. What happens to the applications already open in that environment? They will be shifted over automatically to the next available virtual desktop. Okay, so I can close this desktop 3 by clicking on the X, and those applications will go to the other open desktop environments. Okay, switching, very easy. You hover to that, click on that. Okay, click on the task view button. I want to switch to the desktop 1. Click on that. Switch back to desktop 2. Click on the task view button. Click on desktop 2. Okay, and again, this is your other working environment. Like I said, it allows you to organize your work, declutter, It's very helpful. I have spent many years working without the help of this virtual desktop. This is really a very recent addition to the already heavily loaded features of Windows. So this is a godsend. It's a very helpful tool for anybody doing computer work. Okay, so again, let's just say I want to close this session, this virtual desktop called desktop 2. So what do? I don't even have to bother closing them. If you want, I can close them manually one by one. Or if I just want to do it quick and put them all together back to the solitary desktop, which is the default, I can simply go to task view and then hover my mouse over desktop 2 and click on the X, which will close this desktop. So when I click on the desktop task view, there is no desktop 1, desktop 2 shown because we're back to the original one. Okay, so you have learned about virtual desktop, Windows desktop, virtual desktop in this video. And in this video, we learn how to, firstly, what a virtual desktop is, what's the purpose of using it. And we have seen how to add a new virtual desktop. We have seen how to switch from one virtual desktop to another. We have seen how to open applications in a virtual desktop, which is nothing new, just as per normal, as if you're working on your default environment. And then we've seen how to close a virtual desktop, which is the go-to button is always the task view button. The task view button is right here, very close to the Windows Start button. It's right beside the search field. Okay, so there you have it. We have learned about Windows Virtual Desktop in this video. And I hope we have really learned something cool, something new, which will hopefully, it will really increase our productivity, boost our productivity, whatever kind of office work, school work we're doing using a Windows device. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. There's a lot of things in the pipeline in terms of learning about Excel, about Windows, SQL. Those things are right there waiting to be viewed by you in the coming weeks. So each week will be releasing a video, and I hope to see you in the next video.